Come on in. Good morning and welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. My name is Katie O'Neill and I am so excited to see you in 2026. You can always find me at 303-562-8659. Again, 303-562-8659. Today I am bringing you a 2026 Newmar London Aire 4551. With the Onyx package, this coach is fantastic. So as usual, I like to start my RV videos from the inside out. Jody, please go ahead and take her on back. Yes, so one of the things I've got to say about this coach is, first and foremost, if you are looking to buy something that's really going to be a head turner, this is the coach for you. If you're a big guy who's looking for a coach that has extra room in the shower, this coach is for you. If you are a family that wants to have a luxury camping experience while boondocking or being pole to pole in some of the finest resorts across the United States, again, two completely different situations, this is the coach for you. So one of the things that makes the 4551 so popular is this shower. So this is a 50 by 42 shower, I'm sorry, 50 by 34 shower. So a lot of the coaches have a 32-inch depth, and none of them, except for this longer 45-foot floor plan, have a 50-inch width. And I'll tell you, I have been selling a ton of RVs, you know, whether it be the Dutch Star in the 4369 or the 4551 Essex, the 4551 London Aire, King Air. In those floor plans, for me, it's always been a non-issue. I don't need a really big shower, but a lot of the guys that I've talked to, especially, you know, I've delivered two 4369s this week, and both of those clients really loved this bigger shower and said they never thought it would make much of a difference to them, but they're very excited about it. So in the London Aire, you'll notice that we have all of this dark hardware surrounding the shower with, you know, the towel bars, the overhead rain faucet, the wand. All of these things are, you know, are part of the new London Aire motif, but it really ties in very well with the Onyx package. And one of the things I want to point out with this particular shower is that you have this really fantastic and very sophisticated control mechanism, as well as the ability to recycle your 105 gallons of fresh water back into the tank and to heat it, so that you are not wasting that 80 gallons of gray water. So the London Aire with an 80-gallon gray water tank and a 60-gallon black water tank has the most generous gray and black water storage available in our lineup. But the 105 gallons being able to be reheated is something that gives you the ability to keep up with those super Cs that will have 150 gallons of fresh water. Because when you're running this Aquamizer system and heating up that tank of water and getting it hot, when you switch back over from recycle to full is when you're going to start coming out of either the overhead shower, or in this case, if you switch this over to the wand. So there's two different settings, that's wand and that's the overhead shower. So when you start to use that, you're not wasting your gray water space. And of course, the things that really matter the most in terms of staying out longer are going to be power. So a 12.5 kilowatt quiet diesel generator is powering this coach. Heat, in which this coach has 3-zone heated floors. It has hydronic heat that's being powered by this same system that's powering this tankless hot water heater, and then water capacity. So this coach has all of those things. And one of the things that's interesting about this London Aire is it's got a 640 amp hour battery supply that is got a second 3,000 watt Victron inverter, allowing you to run your central air conditioner at night. So again, for those of you that are pole to pole that are always plugged in, not such a big deal, but if you want to overnight somewhere where it's humid and hot and you want to be able to maintain the temperature in your coach, you can do that in this London Aire. Now, little features like this fantastic textured tile wall with your nice shelves here on the top and the bottom, the linear drain, and I'll get out of the way here because this floor is just to die for. Also, things like having your shampoo, your conditioner, and your body wash wall mounted. These are all features that you'll find in our higher end coaches. And what's really nice about the London Aire is it kind of straddles a design element. So in a lot of our coaches, for instance, in the King Aire, you know, you can do the Regal or the Classic, you can do the traditional in the Essex, or you can do the Contemporary. The London Aire is only offered in one design feature, but what's really cool about it is that it straddles both. It gives you that contemporary feel along with some of those homier feels, so it doesn't feel trendy. It's a really great execution of design. And when you pair it with this onyx package on the exterior, it really brings all of the finishes that are on the interior of this coach together to give you a really cohesive feel for the design. Now, first of all, you'll notice there's a dark metal finish on this mirror, so it's not glaringly bright, but it certainly is enough to give you a feel of more room in this rear area. And then when you get here in the back where you've got your shoe wardrobe, as well as all of your shelving storage, you'll see that this is adjustable shelving. You could have a full width closet, or you could have more shelves to store things. And since that's adjustable, you can really set it up however you like. And then in addition to that, you've got a dual hanging rack here as well. So this is a ton of space. This is one of the reasons, for instance, I've had some clients come in, Ken and Mary came in this week, and they had a 37-foot Dutch Star, and they upgraded to a 43-foot for just this, for closet space. So for those of you that are looking for a little more storage to be able to stay out on the road a little bit longer, this coach has that ability. Another thing, like I mentioned, that it has is this very beautiful execution of both modern and warm and homey at the same time. So you've got this fantastic, very wide basin vessel sink. This is a gorgeous vessel sink. It pairs so well with this hardware. This is a really nice matte black hardware, and you've got a matte black finish inside of your sink. Just gorgeous. This is the same tile that you're finding on the floor of the shower. And then of course you've got your beautiful, you know, so high polished countertops with your backlit mirror giving you all the more light in combination with your vanity lights. Here you'll have access panel to your washer and dryer. So if you want to go ahead and get winterized or turn that on and off as you're getting ready to stow up for the cold season, maybe when you're home with the kids over Christmas, easy access there. And then you'll notice in the back of this cabinet here, we have a little outlet as well as this carpet lined shelving. And then we also have outlets down below. And it's interesting, I've actually incorporated these outlets down below into some of our Superstars as a special order. But when you get a London Aire, all of these things are of course just standard features. You don't have to be worried about having them in your backsplash. They're tucked away where you don't notice them. And then you'll see that they're tucked away right above a fantastic amount of space for your larger towels. You know, if you've got, you know, your beach towels and such that you're trying to store, maybe some linens, tons of room there. Of course, with all of those shelves in that rear closet, I don't know that you'll need any of this stuff, but if you need it, you've got it. And then down below here, of course, we see this vent. This vent is going to be for your hydronic heating system. And for those of you that aren't familiar with how that hydronic heat's working, you have not only a tankless hot water heater, but you've got an 8-gallon reservoir that's boiling your hydronic fluid, and it's actually pumping it in a loop. There's 2 loops that go in opposite directions around the coach, and it forces the air over them. So you'll note that where these registers are, it actually, even if you didn't have your heated floors turned on, these little spots on the floor would be warm. So that's pretty cool. On that note, even this engine cover is actually heated in this coach. Now here we have our Splendide washer and dryer stack. And I want to just open this drawer in advance to show you how much room you have down there. So this would be a great place to keep an extra set of sheets, maybe some dryer sheets, your Tide Pods. And then what's so nice about this is you've got these hidden hinges that fold as far as they need to give you better access into this washer and dryer. So very generous amount of room here in this washer and dryer. And also, of course, one of the things that we love to show, we're always trying to catch Jody. I don't know if we're going to get him today. No, he's off camera. But so having this full length mirror is just a great way to get up and out and ready for the day and make sure that you're dressed to the nines. And of course, my favorite thing to mention is a rope hook. So we're going to trade places, but Jody, you go there. I'm going to show off this rear egress door. So this is something that, you know, you'll see in these Newmars, and it seems like a non-issue, but honestly, if you ever had any kind of fire scare, to know that you could escape out of the back of this coach and go down this ladder, that's pretty reassuring. Now, of course, we're all not hoping to go into those types of situations, but if there was a situation where you needed to be able to exit the coach from the middle to the back, this is a great opportunity. The other thing you can use it for is just taking your linens out and dumping them at the end of your trip. Now, I do want to point out your Dometic flushes are also a nice bright light here. That's something that's a little bit different than I have on my coach. These little nuances really make a difference to you as a consumer, and you might not know it, but the first time you go camping and you get up to go potty at night and you don't want to turn the lights on in the bathroom, you can't figure out where your flush button is, you'll appreciate the fact that you can on your London Aire. Now you'll notice this cathedral ceiling. This is going to be a sign of our luxury line. So all of our luxury line coaches have a cathedral ceiling. It is giving you an exceedingly large amount of space. But one of the things I want to mention today is the fact that this coach actually has 6 feet and 10 inches of interior height clearance. So for those of you who are tall, I just had some of my favorite tall people in this weekend. Eric and Jen came in because Eric's 6'9", but what a testimony for a manufacturer to be able to house somebody who's 6'9". I mean, if you think about that, that's pretty impressive. It's something that, you know, we don't mention a lot. And I actually, after working with them, thought to myself, I need to make mention of this because this is important stuff for people, because there are a lot of tall men out there that really don't feel comfortable buying an RV. But in this RV, you could take a shower, you could be very comfortable if you're anything less than 6'9", which is pretty darn awesome. Now you'll notice in our audio video cabinet up here, we have a whole lot of USB ports and such. These are all pretty much unnecessary because of the fact that our 43-inch flat screen is powered by Starlink. And also it's powered by any of your apps, Hulu, Netflix, any of the things you might want to watch. But one of my favorite features of this television is that I can set it over here so it's in the center of the viewing area. So if I'm sleeping in, you know, and I wake up and I want to watch the news in the morning on my 80 by 72 RV King mattress, this is located right in the center of my viewing space. But behind it is some of the coolest stuff. You've got an adjustable shelf here, and then you will have your safe. And this safe is not only mounted in a hidden position behind your television, but it is also actually mounted into the I'm like stuttering over the construction of the coach, which is funny because I say it all the time. The aluminum C-channel that this coach is manufactured with. So when you have aluminum C-channel, one of the things that you've got is you've got, you know, lightweight, you've got rigid, you've also got very, very convenient wiring available. It also, though, gives us the ability to weld in things like this safe to the subframe of this coach. So if somebody wanted to come in here and try to steal all of your gold bullion and your diamonds, they would not be able to get this out because it would be welded into that subframe of the coach. And on the note of the subframe of the coach, one of the benefits with Newmar is that because they use 16-on center residential style construction, they can actually use batt insulation instead of having a foam with a laminate, you know, adhered to the exterior of the coach. If you have a little oopsie on a Newmar and you need to have a repair made, because it's not a foam core coach, they can actually repair a section of the exterior of your coach as opposed to having to replace an entire slide, for instance. So that's a big savings for you. And I know a lot of us have, you know, our warranties and our coverages, but it's also going to save you in time, because the amount of time an RV is down, of course, is time you're not camping. So very nice feature that we don't talk about a lot. It's part of our construction with this coach. Another part of that, though, allows us to weld our windows into the subframe of the coach as well. So you'll see here, you've got these really nice windows on this coach. And let me just get past you, Jody. I hate to do that to you, but I want to go ahead and pull these blinds up. And the reason I want to do this is because these shades are hiding something that a lot of people don't understand how important they really are. So there we go. So in the London Aire, you still have your windows that are set in the subframe of the vehicle. These are not bonded windows. When you move up into the Essex and the King Aire, you'll have bonded windows, but you won't have opening windows with screens. So if you are looking for a window or a coach that has a lot of windows that you can open, there's typically 3 opening windows on a coach with bonded windows, where in this coach I have an opening window over here at this dresser. And then I also have opening windows on either side of my headboard. Now for me, that's a must. I always have our windows open. And just if anyone who hasn't watched my videos before, you should all know that the London Aire is my favorite coach of the entire model lineup, and it comes in a bunk model, and I'm desperately in love with bunk models. So my dream coach would be a bunk model London Aire. A ton of storage above your headboard here. Now keep in mind, there are things we could remove this cabinet set, for instance, if you wanted to put a special in for it. But honestly, with the amount of things that you can keep up here, it would really probably be much more advantageous to have this here. And it's funny, I talked to somebody the other day who said, well, if I get a coach, I want it to have a ton of, windows. Like I want one above the headboard. In all honesty, folks, I like the fact that I can put my nightshades down and have it be dark in my coach. I don't know that I want to have a whole bunch of big open windows in here, just a few that I can open. This is a really great setup for somebody who wants a coach that feels warm and inviting, but also wants to be able to sleep in while they're on vacation. Now over here you'll see that we have our USB type A and C outlets, as well as 2 110 outlets in that cabinet. And those have a little cutout above that outlet so that you can run your cords in and out of there. And the reason that that's important is if anybody has to have a CPAP machine, according to your doctor, not mine, you've got to ask them, but I've heard that your heart, if these, and leave it mounted or setting on the floor and still have enough access to get up to you while you're sleeping, and you would have a place to plug it in. So pretty handy there. Another thing I want to point out is just the courtesy lights that you see under this bed. The Newmar lighting is second to none. And then please take note of our 2 table leaf extensions. You'll see why those are important and why I have cushions here in just a moment. But this coach has really got like one of the best dinettes we offer. So again, in this room, this 72 by 80 RV king size bed is a very nice, very soft pillow top mattress. It is not the Air mattress. There is an Air mattress for those of you who prefer it. I find that that's kind of a divisive option. Some people love them, some people don't. Something I love, 4 of these drawers, all dovetailed, right? So plenty of room to separate his and hers, jewelry, watches, sunglasses, all of your personal effects. And then again, completely dovetailed, full extension drawers. And because of the fact that we have our TV and our audio video cabinet up top, we can have 6 of those here under our dresser. So this is a very, very nice setup for somebody who's got a lot of stuff that they travel with. If you've got a lot of clothes, like I do, it would be very easy to not only have enough room for yourself, but if you had company, you could actually, for our coach, we actually give each one of our kids gets a drawer. So that brings us down to 1 drawer for Stella, 1 for CJ, 1 for Jason, and then 3 for me, right? Jody knows that that's true. All right, so let's go ahead and close this pocket door. I just want to point out this raised panel effect that you see here is something that I think is nice to mention. This is a sound deadening door if you're trying to sleep in and you've got people up in the galley here playing cards. It's nice to have a little bit of privacy, but this is the reason you might have people up late at night playing cards. Take a look at this extended booth dinette. So this is so generous. Now it's interesting, they have 2 different sides for seating. I'm not going to put the whole thing up today just because I don't want to install cushions, but this has got so much room. You could certainly fit 3 people on each side, and then instead of having to have chairs underneath, you just have those 2 little cushions that you have that sit up in the back. This cushion just pops up in its place. So it's very, very nice to have a coach that has an extendable dinette when you need it, but also that does not require you to bring those extra chairs, because then you can keep that space under the bed free to keep things like your mop and your broom and your vacuum cleaner attachments. And I don't know, any of those are the things that I keep underneath there. And one of the nice features of this coach is you'll notice it's all tile the whole way out. So because of that, if you have a broom in your coach, you can simply sweep everything here into the center bath, into the kick plate. And you really don't even need to have those vacuum cleaner attachments. But it's just nice, like I said, that's where I keep, it's kind of like my utility closet is underneath my bed. Now here in the mid bath, again, big hydronic vent for your heat, right? This is going to be the place that you would attach your hoses if you wanted to be able to vacuum out maybe the drawers or in your pantry. I love this seamless undermount sink, again, paired with this beautiful black faucet, and I love the mini subway tiles. What a great look this is. And of course, because this is a luxury level coach, you still have your inlet mirror with your vanity lights, so you still have great visibility. You still have an outlet in your medicine cabinet, so you can keep that flat iron or hair dryer plugged in. But if you do have, portable, toothbrush that you want to plug in or anything along those lines, you also have a pop down outlet. These are just those nice features that you get whenever you're into our luxury line coaches with Newmar. And I think it's important to understand they've come up with a lot of revolutionary things over the years. For instance, slides, more floor, pocket doors that are on a pivot, giving you the ability to enter and exit this coach or this bathroom while you're going down the road. So these are just nice features that you should understand are things that are really important to Newmar. They're really looking to maximize function and make sure you have everything you need. And just so you know, I know we've talked about this before, but this also has a tank level indicator on it, which is really nice, so you don't have to get up and look at your tank levels to see whether or not you need to flush your tanks. You can see the light will just automatically come on and remind you and set, kind of a notification. Another feature that's great about this coach is the fact that we have fantastic fans in both the mid and the rear bathroom. So of course that's going to evacuate any kind of stinky smells you might have, and an opening window to help with that effect. So again, one of the things that's important to understand when you're out in the world looking at coaches is that the practice and evolution of the RV segment has been largely pioneered by Newmar, and they really have done a fantastic job at incorporating all of the new features into the things that make our lives better. The ATC advent for our product line has been fantastic. As you can see, the control panel is so much easier to navigate. Everything is all in one location. You've got your day and night shades all right here. Touch of a button, all of my day shades go down. I've got my climate controls. It's telling me my zones are all synced, what I'm running things on. If I've got the floor heat on high because my toes were so cold, I can see all of my lighting. I can control all of my wall lights, all of my accent lights. Everything is just a touch of a button. I can turn on all of my exterior lights. So this is just a really, really nice thing where you can see everything that you're looking at so simply as just going through. You could turn, if your significant other forgot to turn on the bathroom fan, you can take care of that right here in the center. Shade control, climate control, everything is just so nicely wired in. And as you can see here with this little Bluetooth feature, this is something that you can translate onto your phone as well. And you can dim this with just the touch of a button, which is so good because I can remember getting so many phone calls. Hey, Katie, how do I turn off that annoying light when everyone's trying to sleep? It's just right here in the top corner. You can turn all of these off, and then with just a touch, they come back alive. And you've got that same control no matter where you are throughout your coach, whether you're on your phone or you're using one of their interactive panels. Now, in terms of kitchen space, another reason the 4551 is so popular, very long counter space, even longer drawer here. This cabinet here is a great place, in my opinion, to be able to take some of your larger accessories, toaster ovens, maybe a coffee pot, whatever you may need to have. And one of the reasons you can do that is because they've actually given you a better place to be able to keep your pots and pans. Up here we have, of course, our spice rack, and please understand, so this comes out to about here on my finger. I actually thought about doing a measurement video today, but it was short notice. I'm filling in for Justin, who's a little under the weather. But you know, it's a decent sized spice rack for sure. And then here's where you can keep, of course, all of your bowls and plates. And then I'll show you a place to keep your stemware in a few minutes. Down here underneath, of course, we have one of my favorite features. We have all the junk drawers. If you wanted to keep all of your bottle openers and corkscrews and party napkins, you know, maybe all of your regular napkins, then all of your flashlights, whatever you like. And then when you're not interested in using this for a serving area, all you've got to do is close it up and pop it in, and it blends into this kitchen area as if it's the same cabinetry, even though it does pop out. Here's your Fisher Paykel dishwasher. I had a long conversation with a client yesterday. I got to tell you, a dishwasher isn't just a dishwasher in this coach. If you want to do your own dishes and you're not running your dishwasher, that's okay. The dishwasher is more efficient with its use of water than you are. Just so you know, you will save gray water capacity by running your dishwasher. You can do 3 loads of dishes in one wash in a Fisher Paykel for the same amount of, it would save you 1/3 of the water that you would use by individually washing them. If you're individually washing them, no big deal. But where are you going to put them? Do you really want to have a place here where you've got, a drying rack? No, you just put them down here underneath. That's a great drying rack. You don't have to run the dishwasher until you're ready to end your camping trip, but it's just a nice place to be able to store things when they're drying. So let's talk about televisions here. So you'll notice that we have a 43-inch flat screen here. We've got a 43-inch flat screen here. When I said here, I meant to say in the bedroom. Here in the front, we've got a 50-inch flat screen that'll come up out of the televator. And then we have another 43-inch flat screen outside as well. We also have 2 Bose sound bars. So you've got, if you want to be able to stream audio, you're totally good to do that. But one of the things that's nice about Newmar is they give you a way that you can actually integrate all of these remotes into one. They also, we have the optional flagpole bracket. So you don't need to put a flag in, but if you have your bracket, you can. If you have this installed later, it's actually quite difficult. So it's something, or if you want your flagpole, I would recommend ordering it with your coach. And then here's my favorite drawer, the scrubby drawer. I mean, oh my gosh, all the scrubbies in the world could fit there. And then here you'll see that we have what I would say is a luxury feature in a Newmar. You've got the slide outs underneath. I don't have the luxury of these. I'll tell you one thing. I do find myself sitting on the floor trying to get to the back where I keep the garbage bags. This is just a nice feature. It seems like a non-issue, but it actually does really enhance your ownership. And then over here on the left, you'll see that I've got a place to stow my sink covers. So this is a great feature as well, because when you're, of course, camping, it's very unlikely you're going to have your sink covers in place. Now, when I say sink covers, take a look at this Blanco sink. First of all, it's kind of an oxymoron because it's called a Blanco sink, and it is definitely negro. But it is a beautiful feature in this coach. And again, just the pairing of all of the back faucets, and I love this. Look at that, how svelte is that? It slides in and out. You would never, there's no seam. So you'd think that they didn't give you a power faucet, but you have to have one of these because that's how you clean everything out when you're done doing your dishes, and you clean off the sides of the sink. But it's so nice that they give you that beautiful faucet. But this is, again, just so well paired with the Onyx package, which is now available through Newmar. I just love that. And then the other reason I love this coach so much is because I use my True Induction cooktop outside all of the time. So you could literally take this outside, make your fried egg. You could set it to exactly 360 degrees regardless of altitude. Because it's magnetic, it's not going to be affected by the wind. You could have a paper towel down on this and boil water. It wouldn't catch on fire. So also very much a fire safety feature. But after you take it out, all you've got to do, if you want to use your cutting board, you could just flip it over and use it this way. But you have all of this space back on your counter, even though you're using your cooktop outside. Now, we would be remiss to not show off the little drawer. No, I don't know what it's for. extra sponges, maybe an extra bottle brush, whatever you might want to use. And then shot glasses, I don't know. Jody, I mean, you could, if you think Grey Goose and shot glasses, I mean, there you go. You can make a bunch of cosmopolitans and have all the stuff you need right there in the middle of your kitchen. If you want to write down what you put in those drawers with your London Aire, I'd love to hear it. Okay, so another great advent and something that I like about this coach, more so than the Essex again, is that you've got this push to release drawer. And in fact, I actually have an Essex that'll be coming offline at the beginning of February, I think the 5th or 6th. When I make the video of it, take a look, you'll see that we've actually put these push to release drawers in the Essex cabinets instead of the little bar that pops out and moves into place when you're driving. Because these are fantastic. They don't come out while you're moving. They're full extension, and because they're not affected by a locking mechanism while you're driving, you can access them when you're going down the road. So if you want to make me a sandwich, you could do that. Down below here is the reason that we can keep all of our coffee pots and toaster ovens above the sink. We have this great storage space for pots and pans. And I've got this kind of manipulated so that instead of having them evenly spaced, I've got them in different spatial settings so that you could see where you could keep a frying pan, a quart pot, and the like, maybe a baking sheet. But this is just a great amount of space. And as you can see, it's very deep. So plenty of room for those longer handles. So for those of you that are, you know, gourmet, that like to use nice appointed pots and pans when you're cooking, you have plenty of room to keep everything there, and also it's going to keep them there safely without having them rub against the insides of each other. Now here's one of my favorite features about this coach as well. I know that you can get a Bosch, you know, Bosch refrigerator in an Essex, and you can get, you know, a Viking refrigerator in a King Aire. I really love my Whirlpool. I love the setup. I love the bean cheese drawer. I love the vegetable drawers. I love the Prosecco shelf. I mean, this whole thing just works very well for me. It's got a water filter, so not only do I have a water filter for my ice and for my door water, I also have a whole house water filter outside, so this water's twice filtered. I just love this. I think the Whirlpool set that comes in the London Aire is really nice because of the fact that it's so homogeneous. We use it in so many different products. If you had to get your refrigerator replaced, it's not going to be something that's not manufactured anymore, that's out of date. This is something that we use in 90% of the RVs that we actually manufacture, so very readily available. Here you'll see that we have our ice dispenser down below, so nice, you know, automatic ice tray, and then also tons of deep pocket storage in the freezer. And then this is paired. There's also a 3 cubic foot refrigerator outside. So you've got a bunch of ability to not only keep your frozen meats cool inside, but if you wanted to keep anything, if you're a hunter, or maybe you're going to Alaska, you're catching fish, and you want to bring some of that bounty home, you've got a few different places where you can store that while you're going cross country. Now, when I'm sitting here at this booth, we already saw how roomy it is when we have the extended dinette out. But one of the things I want to point out to you is it's got a place down here to keep a set of Fisher Paykel, you know, placemats underneath. But the other thing it has underneath that's nice is that it has knee space. Because this is a wall-mounted extendable dinette, your buffet stays in place, but the two of you can sit across from each other without having any kind of bar or apparatus that's going to impede your legs. So for those taller people, once again, very nice setup. And then also, if you're entertaining, you've got a really generous amount of space, and that's what those extensions are for. But so able to do this, to have this bigger table space without having to have an extra chair. And keep in mind, you could just do one side facing out. Maybe you've got a beautiful view in front of the coach. You don't have to put both sides out. It's these. The extended dinette is very versatile in that way. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was going to show you a place to keep all of your coffee cups and your wine glasses, shot glasses. We've already found a place for. So I guess here we're going to have to do maybe things like our decanter and such. But nice place for a dry bar, nice place to keep coffee mugs right above, you know, your dining area. Tons and tons of room there. And then I love, so this is an opportunity This wall sconce is just, you know, first of all, very attractive, very, again, contemporary looking, but a nice blend with this. But this wall feature here, this is not a material that's going to hold dirt. It's a synthetic, almost like it's almost like the leather, except for this is fake, and this leather is real. But it's going to be easy to clean. And as you can see, when it's set in this maple, these lambrequins are so elegant. And of course, they're hiding your shades here, but it's just a really nice execution of decoration that's not only going to be attractive to look at and aesthetically pleasing, but it's also functional. And that if if you're sitting here and someone, knocks a glass of wine into the wall, you're gonna be able to wipe this down pretty easily with just some Meyer soap and, some warm water. And then up here, of course, we have all of the storage. So if you are a board game family, you've got plenty of room for you to fight over Monopoly. And another feature, again, that we've already talked about, but I think is worth mentioning, is the fact that I have another window that opens in this coach. But the other thing that I have is let's go back. I keep doing these shades, but when your shades are so easy to put up and down, it's a touch of a button. I can show them off as many times as I want. And I can also show off how large these windows are. So I was talking to somebody yesterday who is looking for an older coach, an older King Aire. And I said, you can get a newer London Aire and have very much some of the things that you had in those older King Aires. With the advent of our new window design, with bringing the Essex line up and the King Aire line up, as we go into bonded windows and higher levels of finishes, it's important to understand you don't need to buy a King Aire anymore to get what you were getting in 2015 in a King Aire. You can buy a London Aire, you can buy an Essex, and it's really important when you're working with an associate to be able to hone in on what it is that you're trying to accomplish, because you may be able to buy a newer coach and have similar features with less miles for similar money. Speaking of similar money, I know all of us would love to have 10 grand in our pocket. One of the nice benefits of this coach is that this 2026 was manufactured and delivered to our location before the chassis price increase. So Freightliner had overall a broad sweeping price increase on their chassis in 2026. This coach is actually, compared to one that you could order with identical equipment today, $10,000 less. Just because of the timing for when this was ordered. So if you're looking to save some money, please note that this coach is going to have a financial benefit to you right off the cuff, and that's just MSRP to MSRP for a current build sheet versus when this coach was manufactured. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that today. I'm always trying to save everybody as much money as I possibly can. And I mean, I do well. I delivered 3 coaches last week. I've got 2 more trades getting picked up by the end of the month, and it's because my management team is able to allow us to provide first-class experiences and service, while also giving you aggressive and competitive pricing across the board. So I always encourage you to note, we don't advertise prices during these videos because of the number of platforms that they're posted on. But if you ask for a price from my management team, there's no smoke and mirrors. There's no dog and pony show. We're more than happy to send over a very specific out the door sales price, trade information, whatever it is that you're requesting, very simply. You don't have to work for it in this organization. And when you buy a coach from us, you also get a really amazing first-class experience in terms of your delivery. We provide a delivery that is second to none, honestly. I would take a delivery here over a factory delivery, to be honest with you. For the $9,000 it'll save you at list. You can hang out with Marlon. You can camp here on site. We have the same level of support available to you. And then when you want to go to Newmar, you can go back to Newmar factory for that 1-year service appointment before your warranty is up, and make an appointment to have your regular scheduled maintenance done and learn about the things that you've been wondering about since you bought your coach. So that factory tour is really useful after you've had your RV for a while, because then of course you know what you don't know. Okay, so this is an amazing amount of space. I mean, if I went to a friend's house and they offered me a bed like this when I was staying, you know, in their living room or in their basement, because all of the bedrooms were occupied, I'd be pretty stoked. But to have this in a mobile vehicle that I can drag around the country and park anywhere I want, and invite those friends I haven't seen since college down for dinner, and to stay after, you know, we get done playing cards and they've been up a little late before they drive out of the mountains to go home. I mean, that's what this is really all about. This is not a bed that's made for you to have people in it every day. But God, if you are going to have a friend come in that you haven't seen for a long time that needs a comfortable place to sleep, this is it. This is huge. And I mean, you can be tall. This is a full queen size bed. This is amazing. And it's soft, it's comfortable, it's a real height of bed. Again, this is just another reason that this 4551 is such a popular floor plan. Now, these could be theater seats. For those of you that see this and go, oh, I really wanted theater seats. Keep in mind, that's a very easy ask for us. You know, Newmar is very good. We send so many people to the factory to make modifications to coaches that you might find online that are almost perfect. If there's a little tweak that you need us to do for you, let us know. We are more than happy to do so. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, all of this villa furniture is full leather. So this is a great feature on this coach, especially for those of you who have fine furry friends that might have a little sharper paws. This is a very nice aspect of our luxury line that, you know, Newmar has brought to us. Initially, you could only have full leather seating in a King Air. And of course, you know, we listen to the people who buy our product, and when they've asked us to have full leather seating made available, we've gone ahead and done that in any of our luxury products. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the luxury lineup starts at Mountain Air. The way that you can tell that you have a luxury lineup is not through full tile floors. You'll get a side radiator and an independent front suspension and a full tile floor at Dutch Star. That's the beginning of what I call the introduction to luxury. The luxury level, though, starts in the ISX line of engines. So this has got an ISX15 in it. This coach has, again, 1,950 foot-pounds of torque. It is a beast. So that is where you get into luxury. Things that will tell you you're in a luxury line coach. This coach has a 12.5 quiet diesel generator. This coach has hidden windshield wipers. So you'll see when we go out front where your windshield wipers actually tuck in behind the nose of the vehicle, keeping them fresh and from drying out or cracking, you know, a little bit longer, if you will. So those are the kind of things that you'll see that differentiate the luxury line of this coach. Now, I do want to point out, for those of you that were concerned that you didn't see any outlets out here, you've got your USB type A and C right there, as well as over here. So you've got two 110 outlets, type A and type C, on either side of that dining area. And then on this side, another USB type A and C with two 110s there, and then another two 110 outlets here. Now, I did go ahead, while we weren't looking, I put that 50-inch flat screen TV up so you could see it, and then I'm going to go ahead and deploy the dog bed. Why do I call this dog bed? Well, because if you have dogs that take over your bed, I mean, all you gotta do is put a few like little doggy beds up there, and I don't care how big they are, they're gonna fit. My three Frenchies would have a party. They would have a field day up here. So, you know, this is a nice area for those of you who do travel with pets. It also does have seat belts in it. So if you've got kids that you're bringing with you and you don't want to have them sitting next to each other and, you know, Bobby hit me, you go ahead and you can separate them that way as well. And another feature I want to point out, take a look at how nicely this is finished. So there's even this matching inlay in this ceiling feature, and that lattice work is again mirrored here and here, and again it's going to tie in so well when we go outside and see the Onyx package of this coach. Now, Jody, let's go ahead and put our slides in. I'm gonna leave the bedroom slide out today. I do want to show how it's color matched. Oh, that was an awning. Oh, should we do that? Here, let's put the awning out. So you'll see right now I'm deploying this port side awning. It is the full length of this galley. And what's so cool about it is I could stop it right there and you could be able to see the view, or I could bring it down a little bit more and give you a little privacy from your neighbors. But I'll leave that out so that we can see those awnings when we're outside. So let's go ahead and bring our slide in. So this is the fun part. This is the hydraulic slide. This is powered by HWH. The hydraulic leveling jacks and the slide are both powered by HWH. So that slide rises up and then it slides in, and you'll see that's why there's a gap above the slide when the slide's out, because it goes up and it just barely clears that decorative ceiling. And of course the decorative ceiling's hiding all of your ductwork, all of your returns, all of your air conditioning vents. And this coach does have three 15,000 BTU air conditioners as well as heat pumps. It has hydronic heat and it has in-floor heating. So lots of heating sources. And also plenty of room to be able to access the bathroom while you're going down the road. Now, if you wanted to take a shower, you'd have to do the marine crawl over the top of the bed to get into that big rear shower. That is not accessible, at least not without crawling over the bed while you're going down the road. But it does have the assist handles. So if you did want to take a shower while you were going down the road, I would highly recommend sitting on the teak bench. Because if it's slippery in there, you'd hate to hit a bump and, you know, drop the soap. Anyway, I don't know where I come up with this stuff. Take a look at this. This is a great sandwich making station. There's a plenty of room here. So if you wanted to make some sandwiches, oh, did we cover this, Jody? No, he made the no, you missed it face. So air fryer, anyone? And for those of you that think this is small, I'm sorry, just take out the inserts. This is not a small microwave. It's just very svelte looking. Everyone's like, oh, it's so much smaller. It's 1.7 cubic feet. It's got plenty of room in there. And it's got an air frying rack or a cookie rack. Or if you want to know my favorite thing to do, you get a Romanoff clay pot. That's a great place to make a turkey. And then up here is where I would keep it. There's your Starlink box. Keep your Romanoff clay pot up there. Maybe some of your pie pans if you want to make some apple pies. I don't know if you're going to be camping out in Julian or any of those places out in the California hills. But you know, maybe down in Georgia, you can make me a peach pie. I've got a customer coming in, picking up a trade-in from Georgia next week. Anyone who wants a Dynamax, let me know. Make quick work of that little guy. It's 1 year old and it's turning into a Newmar. Good world for that guy. All right, so overhead 360 camera, completely flat screen. Your 10-inch screens no longer have a divider. It's a solid piece of glass. But the reason this is also important is because not only can I see all around me, or if I'm driving down the road, I can make sure I've cleared a vehicle if I'm trying to pass it. But I can also, oh, I probably can't do anything until I turn my engine on. Jody, remind me to leave the accessory on so I can actually show the generator, because I always turn off the engine. And this has got a hydraulic, slide for the generator, so you have to have the power on to be able to power the hydraulic slide. But no, so you've got your navigation here, you've got your camera here, and then you have all of your dash controls right here. And as you can see, low tire pressure. These aren't terribly far off, but they are a little bit low, and that's of course because it's winter. It gives you an alert like, hey, make sure you stop and take care of that. Your parking brake is deployed. Our engine brake's on low. If I had my phone synced, I'd be able to tell what my battery was. I've got 1,254 miles on this coach. That's of course that drive out from Napanee. I'm 3/4 of the way full of fuel. My DEF is almost completely full. You can see all of my PSI for 1 and 2 right here on the dash without having to go to any settings. That was a big part of 2023 when Freightliner redid their dash. And the other thing that's important for them is you have a nice digital display for your speed. I know it's just next to miles per hour, but sometimes it's good just to see how fast you are going, because this coach, again, 1,950 foot-pounds of torque, can go pretty quick. Now you'll see steering effort, more and less. So if I'm tracking down the road and I don't want to fight the wind, I can set this steering effort nice and high, and my comfort drive is going to use an electronic bias to keep this wheel straight. That's going to reduce driver's fatigue. It's a very important feature of this coach. There's a ton of other things that you can go through here. So steering effort, fuel economy, Mobileye. We all know what Mobileye is, right? It's this little guy right here on the dash. So Mobileye is going to tell you if you're too close to somebody. It's also what's powering your intelligent high beams and your lane departure warning. Now that is different. Lane departure is when you're going out of the lines. Blind spot is going to be part of your safety systems in addition to Mobileye. That's going to be under road watch. So your cruise control is adaptive on this coach. It shows right here. Your blind spots show in your mirrors. Your turn signals also show in your mirrors, and your camera for your side camera is also mounted into your mirror. So very, very cool features there. Tire pressure, of course, is low. Trip computers. And then you can go here into vehicle settings. If you are going to be in, for instance, Canada, and you want to be able to change this over to kilometers as opposed to miles, this is where you can do all of those things. And also you have another feature which is really nice, which is your diagnostics setting. So you can go through here and do any kind of troubleshooting that you need to do over the phone with Freightliner's custom chassis. And then if you turn menu off, it just shows you again how fast you're going. Now let's talk a little bit about the Freightliner aspect of this chassis. So as we're all familiar with the fact that a lot of these 45-foot coaches by Newmar, or I should say 44 feet 11 inches long, were standard on Spartan chassis. Freightliner is the new standard chassis for Newmar on their luxury lines. And I want to just show this to you. You don't have to do this right now, but this is why we love Freightliner. We love the V-Ride suspension. This is going to give you more stability when you're going around those turns. We love the ownership experience. This is where you can go visit Freightliner Custom Chassis and actually go to Freightliner Camp. Pretty amazing. We love the way Road Watch works for your distance-based cruise control, for showing you where you are on the road while you're going down. We love Ultra Steer, which is going to give us our tag axles that are going to give us better turning radius. This coach has a 292-inch wheelbase versus my 305-inch wheelbase on my 40-foot Superstar, or on a 45-foot Superstar. You're looking at, almost, what is it, 60 inches longer in terms of wheelbase. Just much more dexterous and easy to drive and turn. Your OptiView dash, which we just kind of covered, that Drive Tech, which is where you're integrating all those steering wheel controls, and also this coach has keyless start, so push button start, as well as a remote for your outdoor bays as well as your door. So very, very nice, very contemporary. The brake sync is another reason that we love the Freightliner chassis. This has got an extra cylinder that's charged, so if you lose air brakes on your coach, your tow vehicle is not going to stop braking unless you have some way to be able to use that Air Force One system beyond your regular brakes. And this extra cylinder would allow you to stop your tow vehicle if you had a situation like that. But most importantly, and this is the main point of things, the 24/7 direct Freightliner Custom Chassis phone number and app are fantastic. These guys, if you are having any kind of chassis issues, will be able to answer the phone 24/7. So that's a very, very nice feature. Another feature that we have with our Freightliner chassis is if you're looking, for instance, for specs, you want to know that you've got, Sachs custom tuned shocks. If you want to know that you have a 150-gallon fuel tank, 50-gallon DEF tank. If you want to know that you've got your GVWRs 5,400 pounds, or 54,000 pounds. All of those things come on a really nice spec sheet. Shows you, that you've got, these big Michelin tires, both in the front and in the rear. So you've got 315s in the rear, 365s in the front. All of this information is right here on a very nice sheet, so I can hand this to you for your coach and you know a lot more about what you're driving. A 20,000 pound hitch rating, 5-year drivetrain warranty, 5-year chassis warranty, 5-year transmission warranty, 1-year battery warranty. We should cover that. We'll talk about those AGMs versus the battery coverage on a lithium battery. So all of these things though are right here, very easy for you to see. And then of course, Newmar takes it a step above. They give you all of your standard features, all of your optional features. And then if you want my notes, these are the notes that I have to have for this coach. And I know we've covered most of these, but 105 gallon freshwater, 80 gallon gray, 60 gallon sewage, 150 gallons of fuel, 50,000 BTU furnace. Of course, that's going to be your Oasis dual loop Chinook. The 20,000 pound towing capacity, 605 horsepower on this SL chassis with 1,950 foot-pounds of torque, 15,000 gallon def tank. That would be a lot. 15 gallon def tank, which by the way, mine is 6, so 15 gallon def tank is a lot. But a 12.5 kilowatt quiet diesel generator, 44 feet, 10 inches long, 292 inches plus your tag for your wheelbase, 13 feet 4 inches tall. What does that mean? It means no matter what you build, always put a 14-foot door in your outbuilding. I run into that so often. One of my other favorite features is that I can adjust these pedals. That's a big deal for someone like me. I'm just not a tall person. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, automatic lights as well as automatic high beams. So if I'm coming around a mountain turn and someone's got their, and it's raining and I've got my brights on, they'll dim automatically so I don't blind oncoming traffic. A wireless charging port here for my phone and a nice place to leave it sat. I've got a power window. I can turn my air horn on or off. And got power heated exterior mirrors, my hydraulic leveling jack, and then most importantly, air leveling. I wonder, let me just put the seat back since I've got the slide out. Always make sure you put your seat back after you've put your slide in. Okay, so I'm in travel mode right now. I can come in here and I can actually go through and see how level I am, where my coach is pitched, you know, what my level is. And I can manually actually raise the rear of this coach. So get a client coming in, his coach is due in, I think on the 18th of next month. It's also a London Aire that's gonna need to be able to raise the rear airbags on this coach so that he can get into his driveway. And that's something that, you know, you really don't have the ability to do in a lot of products. So this air leveling that you'll get on the luxury line of the Newmar product line is certainly another differentiating factor. 2 drawers here to store all of your stuff. If you've got, you know, big sunglasses or your wallet, you know, your money clip, whatever it is that you want to store in there while you're out and about, nice place to be able to store that. And then here we've got a few different things worth talking about. This tag dump used to be over here on the side panel. They've moved it. I think it's a much better place. When you see overhead fans, I don't know if you can hear that, but that's what that's talking about. And then it's got high, medium, and low. That's going to be for this front fan, high, off, and low, is going to be for your hydronic heat. Your overhead fans, high, medium, and low, is the one that we just had turned on. So you can turn those up and down while you're going down the road. This is actually to turn on your hydronic heat. So if you have your hydronic heat running, you can turn this on without having even, you know, going down the road. You could have your feet nice and warm coming from your Oasis system. Your visor control, this is the engine's running right now. So I'll show you how far down you can get your visors. That's as far down as you can have your visor while driving. But when you put this up, man, oh man, talk about the reason you would buy a Class A. Look at the size of this windshield. It is absolutely breathtaking. You've got such a good view within this cabin. This is definitely the reason to consider looking at a Class A over a Super C. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn off that generator because it's kind of noisy. Let's see if I remember to do this. No, one more button. There it is. Okay. just trying to remember to leave my AC on so that I can show you that generator later. Okay, so more controls. And for those of you that find this to be droll, I apologize, but I think it's all pretty fascinating. Somebody said, what do you do with this? It's just a cover for your Victron energy management system. Again, this coach has 640 amp hours of lithionics. The lithionics system is actually it's a system that is under warranty for use. So it measures how long and how many starts you've been using your batteries. Your AGMs are going to be 12 months, but your lithionics system, you know, the estimate is that you can get anywhere from 5 to 10 years out of that battery. And keep in mind, Newmar is owned by Winnebago, and Winnebago owns lithionics. So the partnership there is really strong, and it's one of the reasons that they went to ATC, because they just work really well together. And also, it's very important to understand, Newmar wants happy customers. They're very, very interested in having people be, you know, fans of their product that keep coming back. So you can see my WineGuard system right now is searching to see how many localized TV stations I have. This is going to be my Girard awning control. We're not going to put that out today. We've had some gusts up and down this morning, so I don't want to have that wind sensor going off. Here we've got those awning controls. I just put that port side awning out so we'll be able to see that. We've got our driver security lights on or off right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn those back on so I can show those to you. These are all of the same shade controls that we have down here. And then out here we have our exterior LEDs. I got our step control, so you heard that step come in. If I turn that on, it'll go in and out. And I'm going to have it do that since Jody's already in safely. Our Wi-Fi router is right here next to our Starlink. And then over here is our slide control. Biggest button in this coach is going to be your power on off system. So if you see this is blinking or it's off, it means that your lithium batteries are off. And the reason they moved that is initially when they built these coaches, they had that reset button. It was underneath in the battery bay. And of course, that's not convenient for anybody who is camping. Now you'll notice here, this is a completely different setup for us. This is all part of our ATC, and then this is going to be for our awnings. So very nice. If you don't have your remote with you for your Girard awning set, you can just come here and open and close those with a push of a button without having to come all the way into the coach to get the remote. And of course, when it's gusty, sometimes that's important. Great little place here to keep a baseball hat or two, maybe your umbrella. And then up here is what I call like the driver's storage area. This is just where you're going to keep your insurance information, maybe your registration, maybe if you have some birding books, a set of binoculars. Great place to keep all of those things. And then down here, you're going to see a gentleman by the name of Rick Drinkwine. And Rick Drinkwine is definitely one of the reasons you'd buy a Newmar. The guy is fantastic. I've had him help me with not just London Aires, but Essex, all of our Highline luxury coaches. He's very handy to know. And then another reason you buy a Class A, oh, that was the tilt, is right here. So going down the road, if you want to be able to really sit in the lap of luxury, these are both full-fledged recliners that you could, you could turn around and use while you're entertaining, but you could also just use them while you're driving. So this is the opportunity to have a really nice driving experience while you're going down the road, as well as a recliner for when you're having company. Now, as you notice, I put the power step cover out. This is a great little thing to have, especially if you've got a small dog that you don't want to have fall in the stepwell. It's also a very convenient place to store your cats. No, I'm just kidding. We love cats. Don't put them in the stepwell. You'll notice that there's a screen here that's so that you can pass beer through to the people outside. No, it's just to keep the bugs out. And then we're going to show this step going in and out because this is part of the luxury line. I think that people don't realize how nice this step is. I had a guy come out the other day and he said, I need this step. And I said, okay. I said, is your step broken? And he said, no, I'm a semi-truck driver and I'm trying to put something on the back of my my truck and I need a 3-step like this. He was just absolutely thrilled because when you close this, you'll notice it just folds up so nicely. You don't even know that it's there. In fact, it really shows off all of the onyx, right? So you've got this onyx baggage door trim the whole way down. You've got your onyx trim around your doorbell and your keypad. This of course allows you to lock your coach without having your keys. You've got the onyx on the back of these mirrors. And again, you've got your integrated your integrated camera, your turn signal, and your blind spot assist. This is one of the radars for that blind spot assist. This is where you would mount your flagpole. And then here, give me 1 second, Jody, you just stay right there. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can do this right now. This is your 12.5 kilowatt quiet diesel generator. But again, all of these things come into play because they just save you time. If you need to get your generator serviced annually and have the oil changed, it's just a little easier for the technician to get in there and to service your generator. So this is all powered by that HWH hydraulic leveling system. And I know we mentioned these earlier, but there's that super wide 22.5 inch tire. And this is again a 365, but it's on the American X racing wheel. So you've got that Amish racing wheel look, super svelte, very aggressive on this coach. Even London Aire all throughout the coach is in black. You'll see that I've got the door awning lights on. These are the window awnings when they're in. We'll take a look at what they look like when they're out as well on the other side. Again, dual fill 150 gallon fuel tank, but again, even just your docking light here is in black. Everything is just tied in this coach. Really great attention to detail. I know that Casey and Matt are so excited about the Onyx package. And then of course, this is the CFX. So this is the big dog, right? This is the nice either refrigerator or freezer, as I mentioned, inside. So for instance, if you go up and you've got a whole bunch of halibut you want to take home, take this little guy out. Plenty of room, to bring your booty back home with you, and you can still have a few bottles of Prosecco's in a 6-pack on the other side. So while you're wining and dining all of your friends, well, feasting on your catches of the day, you have access to all the things that you need. And if you saw how far out that went, you would have full access to your Dometic even if this slide was out. In 2021, when they gave, I think the King Air had over 100 upgrades. One of the things they gave us was this nice floating shelf. Great place to be able to put things down while you're loading things into your coach. So really important functional features. Once again, something that when you've been doing this as long as Newmar has, you start to really link together the things that are important to people. There's that outdoor sound bar. We talked about that fourth 43-inch flat screen television. Again, these are all smart TVs. No cable needed. With that Starlink, you're good to go. I might run a second Starlink on this coach if you are somebody who's going to be underneath a very dense canopy of trees. It's very infrequent that this Starlink system is not going to work for you. So as you go up and down in this Starlink family, when you get to this big industrial Starlink, it has 130 degrees of sight from the roof-mounted satellite that's up there. It really works in a lot of circumstances. There's very few options or times where it won't, but if you are completely dependent on Wi-Fi because you need to be able to work from home, keep in mind there's a Wi-Fi Ranger in here as well, so you could definitely put in a cellular-based card, or you could put in a second Starlink and run that out and be able to set it where it was going to have the best view of the sky. So a lot of different ways to get what you need there. These are, of course, our power slide trays. There are option 3 on your build sheet. We have 2 of the 3. In this bay, we've opted not to have that power slide tray. Sometimes it's nice to have a nice deep bay where you can slide things in and out. As you can see, the slide trays, they lessen their amount of ground clearance or your amount of overhead clearance quite a bit. And these are 1,000 pound rated trays. Very important aspect of these, they come all the way out to 60% of the tray depth. That gives you a huge advantage at being able to load anything, even when your slides are still deployed. So if you are packing up before you're bringing your slides in, you can get those lawn chairs in there, you can get that barbecue up on there before you pull your slides in. And they do go both ways. So these are both full pass-throughs all the way through. And then of course having the button out here on the door makes them more convenient. If I was to order my Dream London Aire, it would have manual slide trays, not power, because I think they're slow. Don't tell Casey I said that. He loves his power slide trays. I don't know how many of you have ever done this, but I'm sitting in a bay, in a basement. This is pretty impressive in terms of the space. And the reason I'm doing it is because this is going to be a great place where I can show you the STAR Foundation. So the STAR Foundation stands for strong, true, and robust. It is what takes the heaviest portion of this coach where the slide's being stored, and it brings it down to the center of the coach, helping to give you better balance. One of the most important things in an RV is going to be the foundation of the coach. So Freightliner partnered with Newmar, and building the STAR Foundation gives you one of the best driving experiences you're going to ever have, because they're raising this chassis, or raising this coach off of the chassis rail. So they're giving you more clearance. They're giving you, again, that very focused amount of support. And then on top of it, they're giving you a 3-inch subfloor. And when you have these heated floors, cooked into your coach, literally, they're building that floor separate from the subfloor. They're going to go ahead and they're going to put that whole tile base together. And then they actually put it on a heated table. They put your heated floor underneath the tile first, then they grout that, and when they grout it, they actually are able to use a temperature controlled room and bake it at a certain temperature so that it cures correctly, giving you the best rigidity and the longest lasting tile as well. So again, these are all tricks of the trade that Newmar has down, and it makes a huge, huge difference. Now you'll see that this is your road vac, so again, if you want to use your vacuum cleaner inside or outside, you can. You've got those hose attachments, and you can plug it in right here and use it to clean out all of your bays. But I wanted to point this out because I show these on a lot of the coaches. You know, you've got that patio deck up top for all of your appliances, your air conditioners, your Starlink, but this is the drainage tube. So these are strategically located throughout the coach, and they're designed so that you don't get water drips down the exterior of your beautiful, four-colored paint job. So when I say 4 colors, that would be the standard. That would be the standard paint assembly for a Newmar. It comes with a skin, so you can see the skin up here. It's this nice dark color, and then you've got 3 accent colors, whether it be like this anthracite, this silver, or this white. All of that comes in, and then the navy is going to be the skin color. So with this particular paint job, you can choose 4 different colors, but keep in mind, you can choose any 4 different colors that you like. Newmar will custom paint this coach, and honestly, it's $3,500 at list to come up with whatever you want. Now, if you wanted to spend a little more, you could also do the artisan paint job. Wait, artisan. Don't say artesian. Artisan's a well. Ask Avon. An artisan paint job, and so the artisan paint jobs are available as well. Those you can have up to 6 colors, and God, you got to wait to see the King Air we've got coming out for the dealer show. It's pretty exciting. But again, 4 colors the whole way through, beautiful display, and as you'll see here, you have a color match the whole way through on all of your slides, and then underneath here, you have an LED light so that if you are outside and you don't see that big white block of paint in front of you while you're walking towards the side of the coach, you probably had an extra margarita or 2, but there's a nice light to keep you from hitting your head on the corner here. Okay, so we talked about 292-inch wheelbase. That's from the middle of the wheel here to the middle of the wheel up front there. And the reason that this wheel does not count is because there's a pin that releases and allows that wheel to pivot so that your turning radius, so when you're turning into oncoming traffic and you're making that hard left, this coach is doing it from here, not from back here. And of course, there are a total of 8 tires on this coach, as opposed to like the Super C 45-foot chassis, which have a total of 10. And because this wheel actually is an Audi, which means it actually pivots behind the main drive axle, This is not incorporated into your turning radius because this can actually keep up with that turn and actually move with the coach. Here's that egress door. I know we talked about the escape hatch. It's just nice to see it. And from the outside, the 15-gallon def tank, another benefit of getting into the luxury line. You've got a dual fill, so whatever side you pull into, it's the right side. You can fill there. And then here in the back, you'll see Freightliner has your 2 AGM batteries. These are the 1-year warranty. They're not lead acid. I just had to replace all my lead acid batteries. I replaced them with AGMs, just less maintenance. And then you got your power on and off switch for your chassis. There's actually a little hole here and a hole here, so you can lock that shut. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of someone having their RV stolen, but what a great idea to be able to take just a simple little padlock and lock that with a code, so that if someone does, manage to break into your storage facility and try to hotwire your coach, they won't be able to turn the chassis on. They'll have to move to the next one. And I've heard of that more than once. Oh, by the way, these MoRide doors are so rigid and stiff that they block my mics, so I can't leave them open. I thought that was pretty interesting. That just goes to show, again, high quality product from Newmar all the way through, even in the basement doors. And then here is the beautiful part of this coach. This is a 15-liter ISX, 605 horsepower, 1,950 foot-pounds of torque. Holy mackerel. And again, paired with your Freightliner SL chassis, super luxury. That's what SL stands for. It's right on their brochure when you download it. Again, I can email you all of these things. Your camera system's pre-wired for your Voyager camera. Again, 20,000 pound towing capacity, 7-pin connector, brake sync, all very easily accessible. And then your Oasis juice. I gotta tell you, it's been a while since someone asked me for a free gallon. I did 3 deliveries this week. I hope I gave them all a gallon of Oasis juice, but you need to make sure you have that. So the cold line for this one is right here. If your Oasis level is below that cold line, then you will not have hydronic heat or hot water, for that matter, in your coach. So that's a very important feature. Look at Jody, something I could reach. I put it down by myself. Jody always has to pull everything down for me because I'm vertically challenged. Side radiator gives you all that extra room in your closet. I know you already saw that and loved it. Here again is that dual fill def. This is just a place for you to keep your gravity hose. So if you want to keep a gravity hose on deck just in case you need it, you could do that. You could also keep gloves so that when you're filling that def, it's pretty stinky. You don't have to worry about getting it on your fingers. You don't really need a gravity hose in this coach because it does have Sanacon, which is very nice. It also has a paper towel dispenser. It also has a digital display showing you what your tank level. Very smart design here. And then also you'll see that you have at the top here a gray tank rinse. So not only do you have a black tank rinse, you also have a gray tank rinse. That's a very nice feature that you get when you get into these luxury coaches. Another nice feature that you get throughout the entire Newmar product line is a hot and cold exterior shower, as well as the power water supply, or power hose for your water supply. Again, you don't have to buy a London Aire to get a lot of this stuff, but there are some really nice features that you get when you get up into this line. So for instance, I have a manual shade. This is that power shade that we saw earlier, and there's one here on the port side and then also in the bedroom on the port side as well. The 50-foot power cord on a power reel, don't need to buy a luxury line for that. Same with the surge protector, the lighted bays. I mean, so Newmar does so many things nice. That's your cable access point there as well. And then this coach does have a buddy plug, so that's a great feature. And then here you'll have that hydronic heating system. And again, I mentioned that there's 2 loops. Here's loop 1 and loop 2. That is going to be that 8 gallons of hydronic fluid that's going underneath. That's where those loops are coming out. But again, this is what's powering your hydronic heat as well as your hot water. But your floors are electric. I get a lot of people who think that there's liquid in their floors. That would just be a terrible idea. Can you imagine if you had a leak? Oh my God. And there are manufacturers that do that. I would always double check and make sure that if you do have heated floors, that they are not liquid heated. That's fine in your house. It's not good for your RV. Too many things going on there. Okay, so as you can see, power on both sides. We're not going to put them all the way out. If they were manual, I'd pull them out for you, but they're slow because they're power. Oh, you know what we didn't show, Jody? Up here, docking lights. Like, how convenient is that if you're trying to get set up? Get a nice light there above your water bay. And then also to the left of that, that's your overhead camera for your 360 camera view. Pretty cool stuff. This is a much better side to see the paint, by the way. You can really see the anthracite with this beautiful silver and the white and this navy blue. This is a gorgeous coach. It was super fun. When Justin called me this morning and said he needed someone to cover his video, I was like, well, that'll be easy. I already did a video on that coach once, and I have to go change my outfit. So I had to hang up and then go put all my blue and black on so I could match this coach. But this is a great coach to have to dress for because it is stunning. There is our big improvement, our Victron energy management system. We have left Magnum behind. Victron just seems to be the industry favorite. As you can see, that second multi-plus is going to be dedicated to your central air conditioner. And then if you wanted to add another Lithionics battery and have up to 960 amp hours of battery, it's available for you. We don't include it. The battery packages are $19,000 and $29,000. So 10 grand's a lot of extra money to spend. But if you need it, we can always install it. If you don't need it, we hate to spend that much money just in case, you know? So there's that. Again, 150-gallon dual fill. The brain's the operation. If you buy a King Air, you get a power washer. If you buy a London Aire, you get a squeegee. I don't even get a squeegee, you guys. I have a Superstar. It's still really nice and I love it. Okay, this is a stock number 5N250102. Again, 5N250102. Please call me. Let's make a deal. Let me get you into this coach on the road and camping. I would be so proud to help you get this one on the road. My name is Katie O'Neill. I'm coming to you live on a nice Wednesday morning from Transwest Truck Trailer RV here in very sunny Frederick, Colorado. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day.